Welcome to your reading for Mercury retrograde and the new moon in Leo. This is going to be for all 12 signs. We will start with the Aries first and go all the way through to Pisces, and you are all very welcome here. If you haven't checked it out yet, check out my Know Your Signs tutorial to understand why it's so important to listen to all 12 signs. And let's get started right here. I'm going to put the icons up so that you can see where we are in the live there. So thank you all so much for being here. Definitely let me know how you're doing and where you're tuning in from. And in case you can't see behind me, I am tuning in from a new location. I'm actually on vacation at the Jersey Shore. Well, working vacation. Obviously, I'm here because it is my birthday tomorrow. My actual solar return is tonight, based on when the sun conjuncts my natal sun. But tomorrow's my actual birthday, so I'm here with my family and we're having a great time. And I thought it'd be fun to use that background. Now, I do not have my normal equipment, so I hope this works okay. I'm just gonna be holding up the cards for you. So let's jump into Aries here. Aries, the very first card you have for this Mercury retrograde and new moon is the Nine of Water. The Nine of Water says your wishes are coming true. It says concerns are fading away and you are finding that love of life. Now, because this first energy coming through for me, for all of you, is about Mercury retrograde, which Mercury stations retrograde, depends on where you are in the world, late July 17th or early July 18th, wherever you are. So we're already feeling this energy because it actually went into shadow at the end of June, which means it went into the location where it's going to retrograde back to. So I want you to be thinking about things that started showing up for you at the beginning of July, okay? This goes for all 12 signs. Then next week on the 24th, when we have the new moon, it's going to be a really interesting energy. In fact, I want to ask all of you if you would like for me to talk more about the astrology around it, because it's very, very intriguing and interesting. This is just a reading for you guys for all 12 signs for the energy of Mercury retrograde and the energy of the new moon to help you get started. But I am happy to do a separate live about the astrology. And of course, I'll do more angel messages. I love doing that for all of you. But really, Aries, I want you to keep in mind that there is something that's within your grasp, but it's going to take a little bit of reorganization. I want you to ask yourself about where things have been a little out of balance in your life. And I tell all 12 signs this. We want to think about our health and fitness, our career and finance. If you're retired, that could be your legacy or what you're doing with your next act. And then, of course, your relationships, which is going to be not just romantic, but parent, friend, boss, all those things. Now, you are wishing for something. There is something your heart really wants, Aries, but there may be a better way to approach it if those things are out of balance. The other thing to keep in mind with any retrograde season is things do tend to come up from your past for review. So we're looking for anything with an RE. You may even get some phone calls from that ex. Now, what we want to do is we want to have the right vibration of energy if we choose to connect with these people from the past, or we may choose to set a boundary there. So let's keep going for Aries. Aries, the next card you're getting, especially around this full moon, is this Queen of Air card. I love that we were just talking about making that decision around people from your past. It says brilliant, experienced, and humorous, okay? You may be asked to find the humor in a situation about an ex coming back from the past. Hey, Mary, good to see you in the comments. Hello. She's tuning in from Ireland. I love it. I love seeing you in there, Mary. The Nine of Water and the Queen of Air together is kind of reminding you how far you've come. So if you are being contacted by an old boss, an old best friend, somebody you drifted away from, even an romantic relationship, you want to think about the things that you're moving towards and not get stuck in the past. In fact, in this card right here, the mermaid is looking back at the cups and kind of wondering, is this really what I want? So I want you to keep that in mind and be willing to embrace this Queen of Air card if you are having to set some boundaries around people coming back from your past. So grab that free chart. I will link it below as soon as I'm done with that line, this live, the Know Your Signs chart. because I want you to know where you have Aries in your chart and see where you may have to invoke this Queen of Air energy where you're saying enough is enough. I am not communicating with you about this anymore. But let's keep going. We have more guidance for the Aries here. I'm going to get to all 12 signs, of course. We have the High Priestess card. Look at this. This is beautiful energy. This is a card of action for the Mercury retrograde card and the new moon in Leo. So you're being asked pretty much between now and the end of August to spend a lot of extra time tapping into your intuition. You're going to get some new downloads and some new insights only if you're willing to set those boundaries with people from your past. Now, this could be current relationships where an old argument is coming up, and it's time to have that conversation about, are we going to agree to disagree, or are we going to move on? Because I'm tired of rehashing all of that. And that's one of the things you'll see happen with the Mercury retrograde, is there's a lot of rehashing something that you thought was put to bed. So let's pull one more card of action for you, Aries. We've got the brothers and sisters card. Okay, so maybe even things coming up from your past with siblings, Aries. Who's the first person that pops into mind? It says to get along with others, see the love and the best within them. All right, so we're looking for the good in those around us. Even if things are being rehashed, we want to listen to our intuition about, is this the right time to bring up that old issue? For some Aries, it might be you that's wanting to bring up an old topic and rehash it, rediscuss it. That's okay, as long as you're taking that time to go within and tap into that High Priestess energy so that you're waiting for the right time to say it, you're using the right words, you're really grounded before you have that conversation. And this doesn't have to be a brother or sister. It could be somebody you see as a brother or sister, like a soul friend, you know, where you feel like they're a soul sister or soul brother, but there isn't something going on there where, you know, if stuff's coming up from your past, maybe you're spending time with them and you're just revisiting old memories. That's all wonderful. It's coming up for review for a reason. I just got huge angel bumps down my back, Aries, so there is some kind of conversation that is probably going to come up, and as long as you are taking the time to be really practical about the way you communicate and listening to your intuition, you're going to be just fine with that. So make sure you're taking plenty of time to yourself during the new moon next week and throughout this Mercury retrograde energy, Aries, so that you can definitely review things in small details, but make sure you're not communicating in a way that is bombastic, okay? And if other people are communicating in a bombastic way with you, then that's where you're going to maybe retreat, go into your intuition and decide how you want to react. Respond differently than you would during Mercury direct. If you're used to getting on the phone and hashing it out, maybe this time you're writing a letter and rereading it multiple times. Although I'll always give you the advice my grandfather and my dad would always say is write the letter, but don't send it. Make sure you are really thinking through things clearly before you're communicating them. All right, how's everybody doing with that? Let's move on to the Taurus energy for this Mercury retrograde starting tomorrow and new moon energy next week. We have the Dreamer card. This is beautiful, Taurus. What is this new adventure you're headed on right now? You already know what this is. You've already started this, and you're going into this Mercury retrograde with big dreams. Your heart is full of passion and you're feeling on your purpose. You're following your purpose in a bigger way than you ever have before. Congratulations, Taurus. I am so happy for you. I can feel the joy coming through for you guys on these new things you're following. This is something you're already doing. The reminder that's coming up for you here is that you are at the very beginning of this journey. So it's going to take time, and you're not going to want to get ahead of yourself. You're not going to want to put the horse before the cart. You're going to want to slow down and think things through carefully before you're investing in things. Of course, anytime when you have Mercury retrograde, you want to, kind of expect the unexpected when it comes with communication. And you might find that, here's the example I'm thinking. Maybe you lost a job in the past that you really liked and it was a surprise and you were bummed out about it, but you picked yourself up by your bootstraps, you went on and moved to something else, and you get this great opportunity with it. just the moment you sign on the dotted line to do this new opportunity, your boss from the old job calls you up and wants you back, right? That's the kind of thing that could happen with this Mercury retrograde, and you're going to have to decide, where am I headed next? Well, let's keep going with your energy, Taurus, so that we can stay focused on this dreamer energy that I love so much for all of you. We have the Queen of Fire card. Beautiful energy for Taurus here. It says intelligent, exuberant, and determined. This is a very, very creative energy. This is the kind of energy where you make magic happen with the snap of your fingers, okay? But it does take remembering where you're headed, okay? We don't want to lose sight, because everything just starts happening of where we're headed, okay, Taurus? So that's the main thing I feel like you're going to have to keep focused on, is you're going to be thinking about where you're going and not spend so much time thinking about the past, Taurus. And that's something that I know can be hard to do for all 12 signs, but especially you guys, because you tend to really hold on to people, to situations. I am a Taurus moon, so I completely understand and sympathize, but we want to be looking forward, okay? We're not reliving that conversation over and over again. We're focusing on what we're manifesting now. So then the actions to take with this new moon and Mercury retrograde energy, Taurus, is going to be the Two of Cups. Look at that. Look at that. Now, because this is a Mercury retrograde energy, again, I am seeing maybe somebody from your past coming back to Taurus, just like we said for Aries. Again, you can check out your Know Your Signs chart. I will link that below, and you will be able to see if where in your chart that is, what part of your chart it involves. But there is something coming back from your past. It's bringing up emotions. What you want to do is you want to look for the silver lining here. You do want to consider a new approach or a new partnership. So let's say your boss comes back to you and says, we really, really want you back, and you are actually considering doing that. What you need to do is get really clear on the emotional fulfillment you need if you're going to say yes, and you're going to take a new approach. So it's kind of one of those things where maybe last time you took the job because you were just so excited, but you didn't have any discussion about what kind of opportunities there would be, and then this time you're getting it in writing about the timeline for new opportunities for you. This could be a new relationship coming through for some of you. This could be a new romantic relationship, but it could involve somebody from your past. Maybe it's a high school friend, and this time around it's going to be romantic, or maybe it is a past life relationship. So just be really careful about that as new relationships are coming through. But I am getting something new coming in that is somehow related to the past. So just make sure you're really carefully reviewing your emotions and what do you need to feel emotionally secure, Tauruses. One more action that I have for you to take here is your curiosity card. Look at that. I love the kitty with the unicorn there. It says, start a project related to something you're curious about. Something you're curious about, Tauruses. You know, that's the thing here. I want you to be curious. Do your research, get excited about something. If you're watching this now or before Mercury actually stations retrograde tomorrow night or early the 18th, then do something today to start on something that you can start researching between now and the end of August, because technically Mercury isn't out of shadow to the end of August. So I would just be really taking your time with anything that you are investing in. You have this beautiful dreamer energy. This is the Fool card in tarot, but this is the angel deck, and it's letting you know that yes, you've started this new journey, but take your time, build that foundation, be willing to ask yourself, what is it that I want to invest in, and what are the things from my past that I don't want to take with me? And this could be maybe not taking old relationships with you, and you'll know what that is for you. You've probably already had a sense. But there is some kind of, I feel a little bit of a test coming in through you, Tauruses, about something from your past. And as long as you remember, hey, I'm not getting off track, I've done all this work to follow my dreams, then you will totally embrace this Queen of Wand energy or Queen of Fire. I love that for the Tauruses. Alrighty, moving on to the, whoops, didn't mean to do that. I probably should be wearing my glasses since I've got a different setup here. Gemini. Geminis. What do we have for the Geminis? Geminis, you have the 10 of Air card. The 10 of Air card, it says the end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better. Recognizing, recovering from some kind of addiction. I really like this for the Geminis because Jupiter left your sign, and so you are going to feel like you can breathe a little bit better, although we did just have Uranus move into your sign, so things are going to be pretty unexpected, but it's bringing the change you want, right? So this is a card of endings. There is something that you will finally feel relieved to be done with, but you might still have to go back and dot some I's and cross some T's. It reminds me of a time when I stepped down from a non. That's what I feel like is happening for a lot of Geminis, is something you thought you were completely done with on the end of August, but it's okay because it's still over. The thing that was stressful is still over. Now, for some of you Geminis, I feel like it's also involving something that you've been stressing about is finally over, where you've been worried, is this going to happen for me? And you've been really pushing for something to happen for you. And now you can take a sigh of relief, right? There's that RE word, relax, rest. So I hope a lot of you Geminis are taking vacation this month and maybe even in August, relaxing and resting and storing up your energy, because once we get to the fall, when things start really changing with some of these powerful eclipses we have coming up, you're going to need your energy, okay, Gemini? So definitely take some time to slow down and rest and recover. All right, let's see what else is coming up for the Geminis here. Geminis, we also have the 15 ego card, illusion, dependency, and materialism. I feel like this is just supporting what is going on here, that you've been a little worried about some things. Is this going to happen for me? When is this going to happen for me? When is this going to be over? And so you might find that, especially around this new moon energy, all of a sudden it feels like it's all back again. Like, oh gosh, I thought we were done with that. But they're telling you it's just an illusion. It's just during this retrograde energy that you might feel this pull back into something old, but it's over. It's over, you guys, especially with this Mercury retrograde. The other thing I am getting for a very specific group of you Geminis, or maybe where you have Gemini in your chart, is some of you are going to say, I've had enough, because of some kind of illusion that becomes clear. So I love it when astrologers explain retrograde as the waves, right? We got the waves behind me. So when a planet is direct, it's the tide coming in, the wave is coming in, right? When a planet is retrograde, it's the tide pulling out or the wave pulling out. And that's when you get to see all the shells on the sand and the crabs. I saw so many crabs last week. It was so fun. Horseshoe crab, a calico crab. We saw lots of jellyfish, unfortunately, but some really cool stuff. And those things were revealed when the wave pulled back. So it's giving you an opportunity to see something. And what I'm getting for some Geminis out there is something will be revealed to you that you're going to say, this is enough. I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. And I do think it's going to happen sooner than the new moon for a lot of the Geminis. Maybe it'll take till the end of retrograde for some of you, but just pay attention to the things that are being revealed to you, Geminis, because you may be the one saying enough is enough. Okay, let's move on to an action card for Geminis. We have the 3 of Wands. I love this card. So this is a card of collaboration. This is a card of creating something. Are you going to take a break from some project, from some job? Are you going to go relax? Well, use that downtime to do something your heart really wants to do, something creative. Take a cooking class. Do some research on a creative project you want to get started doing. I really like this energy for this for July for Geminis, and oh, it's cutting out the card for some reason. There we go. And I want you to remember that this is also teamwork, right? So maybe you're inviting your spouse to go do a cooking class with you, or maybe you're inviting a colleague to do some research with you and go to a workshop on something, right? You can take a little vacation, but also go learn at the same time. So let's see what your next action card is here, Geminis. We have the Happy Thoughts card. The Happy Thoughts card. All right, so this says that this is wanting you to stay in your happy thoughts when this 10 of energy comes up. You are not going back to that 9 of air. My good friend Chris Reck from Minopon Tarot says 9 of air, he calls it never-ending nightmares. It's when you're just letting that inner monologue keep going over and over, and we're saying no, enough. We're not letting ourselves going back to that. We're going to focus on these happy thoughts. So take a screenshot of that if you need to, Geminis. We're going to stick with the happy thoughts because you're going to be looking for these creative things to do, and you are not going to be falling for that illusion that you're going to your past, that it's, oh, it's going to happen again. All right, Geminis, you have moved through that. Jupiter is bringing you gifts. It's a lot of times you get those gifts from Jupiter after it leaves your sign. But be willing to kind of ride the waves. Uranus being in your sign does like being in Gemini, but you're just going to have to be able to, you know, kind of keep on your toes and make sure that, oh, am I letting myself go back to my old thinking, or am I staying in the happy, positive side of things? All right, love that for Geminis. Moving on to Cancer. Happy birthday, Cancers. I'm so happy that you are here and celebrating your birthday month with me, your birthday season, I should say, because I know some of you started way back in June. It's always an honor to connect with you. And let's see what this energy is for you for the Mercury retrograde and the new moon, Cancers. We have the first card is the 4 of air coming up for this Mercury retrograde. It says time to rest or take a vacation, just like Geminis. It says allow more time before making a decision. And it says meditation may provide answers. So yes, Cancer, during this birthday season, please take lots of time to rest. Where do you see yourself a year from now? What do you want to have accomplished by your next solar return? Be thinking about the things you no longer want in your life anymore. And I know a lot of times, Cancers, we get so loyal. We say we're going to do something and we do it even though our heart's not in it anymore. Maybe it's time to take a break from that mentality and say, I want to rest. I want to take care of me. I'm not here to take care of everybody else. I need a break. So even if it's just a little getaway or a little staycation, especially during the new moon energy, which you're going to already start feeling by this weekend. So maybe you can do a little getaway this weekend. Definitely resting and taking a vacation is really key during this time. So if you've already got some time planned off, you're already on track. If you don't, just try to slow down. Now let's see what else we have coming up for you. We have the Page of Fire. Look at this, new ideas, new creative projects, enthusiasm, motivation, something you're getting really excited about creating here, Cancers. And with it coming up with this 4 of air, I think this new idea is something you've already come up with, right? There's something already you're like, I want to do this new thing. You're going to be using this rest and downtime to really work on this creative idea. So it's not a launching of the idea, it's a resting and focusing on the things that you can do to do it differently. So I do feel like a lot of Cancers are going to be restarting a past project. You're going to be doing it differently. Maybe you're changing the topic of your podcast. Maybe you're changing the direction you're headed with a novel you're writing. Maybe you are thinking about moving to a new home, but you're taking a break before you just go out there and buy that new home. Instead, you think about, like, what is my ideal neighborhood? What do I have around me? And you're taking that quiet time and contemplation. So let's get some action cards here for Cancer. For Cancer, you have the 9 of Wands card. I love this. This is a card of being really careful not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I've said this on here before. I don't like that saying, but sometimes it's the only one that works. And so you've got to protect what you've created so far. That's why they're telling you to slow down and rest before you take action on this new idea. And as a Cancer sun sign myself, I know exactly what this is. I've been getting a lot of guidance about slowing down this summer and really taking my time. But I do have this new idea that came to me before the Mercury retrograde, but I'm going to use the Mercury retrograde to rethink it and say to myself, okay, I'm going to restart this, but I'm going to do it differently this time. So think about what that is for you. You know, you may be retired and you're just thinking about trying a new thing to learn. You want to learn something new, investigate something new. Take your time choosing that. You don't have to sign up for that class in the fall immediately. Take your time and listen to your intuition. Let's see what's coming up for your action cards. We have 15, the Devil card here, which is also the ego. We had that earlier for the Gemini, so it's the same idea. Remember to be wary of illusions, okay? I didn't talk a lot about the astrology for this particular new moon, but there is some really interesting astrology going on with the Mercury retrograde and the new moon in Leo. Like I said, if you want me to do another video about that, I will happily do that, but I wanted to focus on the energy and the angel messages for this one. Watch out for those illusions. Now, what may happen is something you thought was real turns out you see is not real. It's false. And that's a very common thing that happens with Mercury retrograde. Is, you know, the easiest example is you start dating somebody a couple days before the Mercury retrograde, it goes retrograde, and then they're rude to the server. And you're like, whoa, I didn't see that side of this person before. This isn't going to work, right? So this is the kind of thing you want to look out for. The opposite thing can happen too, where, like, again, somebody comes back from your past, or you meet somebody and they tell you, oh, I'm this like amazing person, I've changed, I've done all these healthy things, and then when Mercury goes direct, it's like, oh no, that was just an illusion, they were just saying what they had to say, right? So just watch out for those illusions, Cancers. And then the second action for you to take is, it's okay to be different. All right, Cancers, it's totally okay to be different. It says you don't need to be like everyone else. You're perfect just the way you are. I love that, Cancers. You are perfect just the way you are. So this is going to be an opportunity for you to spend time nurturing yourself and loving yourself and doing the things you got to do. If somebody else in your life is telling me you're not giving me enough attention, you're not doing enough for me, take a break, walk away, you know, say I love you, but we're going to have this conversation at a different time. But again, remember the card of protecting what you've created, right? We don't want to give up on what we want either, just because things may be revealed with this Mercury retrograde. And like I said, new things coming in could be an illusion, okay? That goes for all 12 signs. New things could be an illusion. That's why we want to really take our time and listen to our intuition before we're acting on anything. Okay, moving on to the Leos. Hello, Leos. Happy birthday season to you. We're not quite into your season yet at the time I'm doing this live, but this is your new moon, a super, super powerful new moon. So happy birthday to you. I hope you're celebrating all season long, lovely Leos, and you deserve it. You are so loved. Let's jump into the energy of this Mercury retrograde for you and this new moon. First, you have the Five of Earth card here. It says fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, uncertain self-employment. Now, this is something that I've gotten for Leos a lot all year long, where you are moving in a new direction with your work, and it could be bringing up some fears from the past where some kind of project, relationship, or home did not work for you, okay? It didn't work for you, but you are moving away from that. So this is a card of remembering to go higher with your thoughts. Call in that spiritual help. Manifest the help you need. Maybe in the past, the reason these things didn't work is because you forgot to ask your spiritual team for help. You just went out and did it, right? You just took action on what your heart wanted, and you didn't ask your spiritual team to send you loud and clear signs. Who's your spiritual team? Your angels, your passed away loved ones, spirit guides, spirit animals, ascended masters, right? Your higher self. Make sure you're asking, going higher, and getting help. And that's what you're going to say to yourself during this retrograde season is, okay, I'm doing this thing that I've done in the past and it didn't work out. And those fears may come up for you, but this Mercury retrograde is an opportunity to say, what did I learn so that I won't do it again? And what things can I put in place so that it doesn't happen again. All right, so let's keep going. Let's move on to your lovely new moon in Leos. We have the World card. Look at this, the World card. Did you see your July reading that I did when I did the live marathon at the end of June? If you didn't, please go check it out. So many people were getting the World card. And, you know, this is just saying, we're here with the Five of Earth. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. This is your new moon. And they're saying you're going to get what you want in the world. It says accomplishment, celebration, completion. All right. You are completing the end of a cycle, moving into this birthday season. Leo, something you've been working really hard to bring into your life. So don't allow yourself to get caught up in fear of losing those things. Instead, calling your spiritual team for help. And that's actually good advice for all of us here, right? When fears start coming up, what do we need to do? We need to ask our spiritual team for guidance, for loud and clear signs, for protection. All right, do those things because you're getting the things you want with this new moon. You may not see those things revealed to you until Mercury is direct or possibly completely out of shadow at the end of August, but keep going and leave these fears around material resources in the past and instead focus on where are you headed in the world. Just take your time with it. So here's an action card for you, Leo. We have the Six of Pentacles here. I really, really like this card. Look at that bull on there, right? Earth energy, Taurus. But Leos, this is saying you're gonna do fine. You're moving on. You're moving on from being afraid. So, you know, for some Leos, it could be that this time you're following a budget. Last time you just said, hey, I'm going to go create this at whatever cost it is to me. And this time you're putting it in a budget. For some of you, it could be, I'm going to spend all night and every weekend working on these projects until it's done. And this time you're saying, no, I'm going to have a healthy work-life balance. I'm going to go home at 5 and spend time with my family. And then at night, I'll do a little bit of work. Or I'm going to plan more vacations. So there is something you're moving on from here in your world. All right. And that's the action to take is how do I make sure I'm creating this steadfast energy of not allowing myself to go back into the Five of Earth. I'm living on a budget. I'm living within my means. I'm not hurrying on. I'm not spending money on something that I haven't thoroughly researched. Maybe there's another way to do it that's less expensive. But you also are investing in that future too, because maybe in the past you were too afraid to invest in something your heart really wanted. So you'll know what that is for you. And the next action to take, Leos, is the True card. It's true. Yes, what you're asking for is the truth. Asking about is the truth. So I think there is something that you're wanting to know, like, is this the way to do this? And I think the answer is going to be revealed to you. Again, some Leos are going to have something revealed to you that you were already curious about, like you had like a sixth sense, like I'm not sure this person is being completely forthright with me, or I'm not sure that my boss is telling me what's really going on in the company. I'm not really sure that my work is being perceived the way I think it is, so I might need to change things up a bit. That's all just fine as long as you're willing to let those things be revealed to you because they are happening for you, right? When somebody rushes up and tells you something that comes off a little tactless, but it's truthful, stepping back and going, okay, why is this being revealed to me right now, right? And that's going to be the more powerful question to ask for all 12 signs with this Mercury retrograde is, why is this being revealed to me right now? And when you use that question, you will learn, okay? Instead of taking it personally. And I should have said that at the top of the video, but Leos, you are so loving. You do things from the heart. I know how hard it is for you not to take things personally, but you're being asked not to take things personally. These things are being revealed to you for you to help you get into this Six of Earth energy, which you're being asked to do. You're actually being asked to review your finances, review your budget. Now, it could actually be reviewing the time you spend on something and the energy you're putting into it. So it doesn't have to mean actual money, but money is energy after all. So think about those things. Where are you spending your time, money, and resources, and where can you reallocate them during this Taurus season, this Mercury retrograde season, and during your birthday season, so you can come out on top and really embrace that world card here, right? That's what I wanted to say. In your world. I love that for Leos. Let me know what you decide, and let me know what you're doing for your birthday, Leos. Happy birthday. Love you guys. Love all of you. It's just such an honor to communicate with all of you this way. All right, so Virgos. Virgo. For this Mercury retrograde, we have the Ace of Air card. Interesting. Brilliant new ideas and opportunities, seeing the truth of a situation, and a challenging beginning. All right, so Virgos, I know how great you are at getting things done, knocking off that to-do list. This retrograde season, you're being asked to slow down and look at the truth behind something. Now, for some of you Virgos, it's about being more truthful with yourself, about why have you been holding yourself back? Why are you getting in your own way? So for some of you, you feel like things are taking forever to get off the ground, but there's something really deep within that is holding you back, and that may be revealed to you during this retrograde season. You may not see it yet, but for some of you too, it's somebody else in your life where you're going to be learning something. And I feel like if you focus on, hey, all these things do not have to get done at once, then it keeps popping up there, then you will see the truth of something. So just try not to be such a busy bee during this retrograde season and this new moon energy where you might overlook something that is truthful there. Okay, so what's coming up next for the Virgos? We have the Seven of Fire card here. Challenge, determination, resistance. I love this for you guys. So this is a card of being up where you can look down around the people at you and say, okay, which thing do I want to do next? What battle do I want to take on next? And what I feel like is coming through for the Virgos is with this new moon, you are going to need to, you're good at making lists. I was going to say, make a list of the things you want to create, all right? But then take that 30,000 foot perspective and say, what's practical here, right? You are up here looking down at these wands, so there is an opportunity to assess things and be really, really clear on where you stand with your beliefs and what you really want. And there's opportunities, but maybe you're saying to yourself, I can see clearly now that I don't, now that song's playing in my head. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I love that song. So yeah, something's getting revealed for you, Virgos. You're going to see something and go, that's not what I want anymore. So this is actually, I love this, because whatever's been holding you back, this is actually going to be helping you with this energy. And I know a lot of people are like, oh gosh, Mercury's retrograde, so this. You can't run your life that way. If you do that, none of us will get everything done because Mercury retrogrades 3 to 4 times a year. So you got to make sure you're not letting it hold you back. But I feel like the thing that has been holding back is going to make you go, oh, this is what I want to do now. Okay, so let's see what's coming up for your action cards, Virgo. Page of Swords. Yep, Page of Swords. So this is, again, you saying, okay, I'm going to get rid of some of these new things coming through, and I'm just going to focus on the thing I really want to do. Like, I feel like you're taking a new approach, too. You're taking a new approach to some project. So it's something you've already been working on that just, it's been a challenging beginning. That's what this Ace of Aries is. It's like just going slower than you mean for it to, but the energy's there. And this is standing up for your beliefs, standing up for what you want. And if somebody new comes in and gives you some new information, that's information you needed to know. Somebody comes in and says, hey, I thought you were going to do this project for me, but I didn't understand it the way you said it. Could you explain it differently? And then that gives you an idea. Oh, yeah, this time I'll use a chart and I'll use a graph and that'll make more sense. And then the person goes, oh, that's so much better. Thank you. And now you have a new way of doing it when you come out of this direct season. I don't know why I had to talk about charts and graphs, but somebody needed to hear that. And your final action card for this Mercury retrograde and new moon energy is going to be talking about your feelings. Look at that horse or unicorn on there. Tell a friend how you feel. Yeah, Virgos, you don't have to do this all alone. I've got my Saturn and North Node conjunct in Virgo, I know that it's easy to get caught up in like, I've got to do this myself. You know, I can get it done. It's easier just to do it myself than to talk about it. You're being asked to talk about it, okay? Who's that trusted friend who you can say, you know, I really thought I wanted to do this project this way, but now I'm feeling stuck. And maybe that person can reflect back to you, oh, well, you know, I think this part looks great. Maybe you just need to tweak it here or there. And that's going to be revealed to you. So I just got lots of angel bumps in my hair there for you Virgos. So that's really exciting. And I can't wait to see what you do next, because we'll be going into your birthday season when we do the next new moon, right? All right. Thank you for being here, Virgos. Let's move on to Libras. Hey, Libras. Libras, for this new moon, you've got the Four of Water here, okay? And it says, missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom, open your eyes to the possibilities. Yeah, so you're going to be having things coming back from your past, Libras. Some of it's going to be work related. Maybe you have an old boss calling you up and saying, hey, could you do one more project for me? You might even say, like, oh, I'm gonna do this because I like my boss, but also I'm not excited about it. But then you realize, like, now you're gonna do this extra project, you can afford to invest in some new equipment for your office that's gonna make your current job easier, right? So we want to look for the silver linings in things, and we don't want to ignore these opportunities, because in this particular card you see the mermaid is not even noticing this over here. So I feel like something from your past is coming back that's actually going to reveal a new opportunity for you. But just check into your intuition and make sure it's not something that's an illusion, because that's something we're all dealing with right now. Neptune is retrograde, so we have a lot of retrogrades going on right now, not just Mercury. But like I said, I wasn't going to go into the astrology with this video. If you want me to, I'll do a separate one. But let's see what else is coming up for Libras. We have the the Awakening card, pause, perspective, selflessness. So this is the Tower card in the tarot deck, and basically there's something going to be revealed to you that's going to shock you. It's going to open your eyes. So this literally says open your eyes to the possibilities. I think you're going to learn something big time, especially around this new moon, Libras, that it's going to change your perspective on a lot of things. It feels like a really positive aha moment, but it may mean the kind of thing where you're totally changing your trajectory. Like all of a sudden you're realizing, in order to really, move forward in your career, you got to move out of your house. You got to go move to a different state or something like that. So there's something really big coming through where there is an opportunity, but first you've got to be willing to say, all right, this big shocking information that came through where I all of a sudden had a new perspective is giving me a new opportunity. And this can come in the form of a dream. So I don't want anyone to be worried that it's necessarily going to be like super shocking. It's more like, have you ever been just kind of looking out the window and just kind of in one of those stares where you don't really want to move your eyes, and then all of a sudden you recall something, you have a new realization about a person in your life or about a project, because you were in a form of meditation, you were in a form of download. So that's the kind of thing I mean with something being revealed. Spend a lot of time daydreaming, Libras. In fact, that's a good rule for all 12 signs. Let's spend a lot of time daydreaming during this Mercury retrograde. Things will be revealed to you through your sleeping time and your dreams there, and your daydreaming. So when I hear from a lot of people, oh, I don't dream, then daydream, actively daydream. And there are things you can do before bed to help bring in more memory of your dreams, but you can go ahead and take action on daydreaming with this Mercury retrograde season. For an action card, you have the Queen of Cups here. This is a beautiful card for this energy, Libra. This is really just mastering your emotions when it comes to these things that are being revealed. I feel like with the Four of Water, feeling bored or unhappy, and then this Tower card coming through, it's like that's the breakthrough, is you're realizing the old me would have really, really been thrown off by this. The old me would have been really hurt or really angry about this. And now you're going, wow, I actually know how to handle this. I know how to look for the silver lining, look for the opportunities. I know how to use this for my own creativity, for my own advancement with my work, for my own peace in my life, right? In my relationships too. So let's get another action card for the Libras. We have the Imagine card. The Imagine card, what would you see, feel, think, and hear if your wishes came true? Yeah, what did I just say about daydreaming? Imagine. I want you to daydream about the things that you're wanting coming true. And things, ideas, revelations are going to come through. One thing that may come through for some of you is that you've been the one holding yourself back from an old set of beliefs, okay? It could be that you don't realize you're creating your own money blocks, or you're creating your own relationship blocks. You're looking for that ideal partner, but you just don't think they're out there. Well, daydream about it. Imagine the ideal partner. This is your task, Libras. This could be anywhere in your life. Maybe you're trying to achieve a fitness goal. Imagine what it's going to feel like and really feel it, right? Picture yourself where you are and what you're wearing and all those things, Libras. You've got an opportunity to do some manifestation with this, even though it is a Mercury retrograde, even though it is, a time of, slowing down and reflecting. I think that reflecting is going to help you see something new, and it's going to help you just dream bigger than you've ever dreamed before. So I love that for the Libras. All right, moving on to the Scorpios. Scorpios, you have for this moon, you're going to love this, Scorpios. You have the Hermit card. Yep, you have permission to cozy up on your couch with your favorite blanket. That's your energy for this Mercury retrograde season. I know I've been telling you all year, you got to step out in the sunlight, Scorpios. You got to get out there in a bigger way. You've got to let the world see your light and see your talents. But the Hermit card says spend quiet time in meditation, spiritual teachings, and self-discovery. So you're being asked to reflect on some things during this retrograde season. So you've got plenty of time to really embrace the energy of being in the spaces you want to be in, as long as you're using it for self-discovery, okay? And this is where it might be like, maybe you're always checking in with your angel messages and your astrology, but you've never looked into your human design. Go get a human design reading, or pick up a book or go online. There's so many videos, and read about it yourself. Or you're learning a new technique for meditating so that you can look at things differently and invite new revelations in. Trying a new way of getting messages, okay? I was telling my community membership during a pop-up live from the beach yesterday, those of you in my community, you know that I was saying there's going to be changes in the way we get information going forward, especially with Uranus and Gemini. And this is going to be revealing things, and maybe you always rely on your feeling, right? You're like, I just get a gut feeling, and that's how I know. And this time, you're getting visions. It's new, right? And so you need to spend time working on that. That's what this self-discovery spiritual teachings is, honing those skills. Use this Mercury retrograde energy to do that. And in fact, use this new moon energy to ask yourself, what are some new ways that I might be able to tap into my intuition or share my light with the world? Just think about it. Reflect about things that people have told you in the past. Scorpio, you are so good at this. You are so helpful at this. Thank you for doing this, but you've never really given yourself credit for. Maybe this is something you're bringing into the world once Mercury is direct. So take some time to reflect upon that. And then you have the Two of Air card, indecision, avoidance, confusion. So yeah, I do think that you've been on the fence about something here, and maybe you're not sure how to communicate something. You're not sure the best format. Do I call my boss and tell him I'm resigning in 2 weeks, or do I just wait till I see him at the office? I'm just using that example because I feel like you're feeling like there's only two options for me to communicate this way, when really there might be third, fourth, or fifth option you haven't been thinking about. And if you spend that quiet time in meditation that you're being asked to do during this retrograde, you will be able to see those other options. So here's your actions to take, Scorpio. You have the Nine of Swords card. Okay, so now I know I said for an earlier sign, Chris Reck from Minnow Pond Tarot, he calls this the never-ending nightmare card, but this is your action card, is where I have this card in this place. So you're supposed to get out of the never-ending nightmare. You're supposed to spend that quiet time alone going, okay, what's another option? What's another option? You're like, Either I quit my job now and I go out on my own and I feel totally insecure about my finances, or I stay here for 10 more years. Well, no, there's probably another option to that. Maybe there's a negotiation with your boss where you work from home part of the time so you can work on your side business right away after work. Sorry, I dropped your card here. So yeah, I think there is something that you need to get out of, right? That's what they're asking you to do with this retrograde energy. So you may be releasing something that feels like a never-ending nightmare. Let's see what your other action card is. Laughter. You need a good laugh. Yeah, that makes sense, Scorpios. That makes sense. You're getting very caught up in the emotions of others right now, and it feels like every single time you turn on the TV, there's more devastation, there's more headlines, and it is true. It's true for all of us. We have to learn how to shield and protect our energy. We have to remember to cut cords with things. We need to remember to not take on other people's energy. It's okay to feel what you feel. I mean, we all feel it with some of these headlines that we've been seeing lately, but we don't want to also take on everybody else's emotions. So that might be another really good reason to go into this hermit mode here, Scorpio, is it's just been too hard for you to separate yourself from this energy. And go watch a funny movie. Go read a funny book. Do something that makes you laugh, all right? Try to have fun, especially around this new moon. Maybe you are going back to an old thing you used to do that made you laugh, that made you have a lot of fun. Okay, so do that, Scorpios, and I think that's going to really help you with getting out of that Nine of Swords energy. All right, moving on to the Sages. Oop, that's Cap. Sagittarius, your energy is the Star card. I've been getting this for you guys all year a lot too. Happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You're on the right path. Look at that. So yeah, Sagittarius, you've already taken action on something. You're doing things right. You're just going to keep going with that energy, I feel like. It's just, it might take a little longer. Why is it giving me a hard time about this card? There we go. It might take you a little bit longer to get where you're going, just because we all have to deal with the things that slow down. You know, it's like you put an offer in on a house and the seller's out of town and they're in a different time zone, and you're like waiting for 2 days to figure out if they're going to accept your offer, right? But it's okay because you're still on the right path. So just be willing to take that time. Because also coming up around the new moon energy for you, Sagittarius, is the Hermit card too. So you got the same thing as your neighbor sign, the Scorpios, which makes sense because you're their neighbor, they're your neighbor. Introspection, self-discovery, mentorship. So anything that is being put on pause. Say that 10 times fast. Put on pause. Anything that's being slowed down, use that to rethink things. You know, I just remember like when my husband and I were building our house, like when we were waiting on a contractor to show up and they were like, oh, he's 3 weeks out, he can't be here to do that till then. I would a lot of times use that time to go online and look for ideas, and sometimes I would see something like, oh, I really want that, and that would be more efficient, or that should go there instead of there. And that would, during that time where we were waiting for that contractor to show up, we were able to change things and get it the way we wanted it. So it's happening for you, anything that's slowing down, right? Okay, so let's see what's coming up for your action card, Sagittarius. For your action card, you have the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords energy here. Now, what I'm getting for this energy is just make sure you're communicating clearly what you want. Again, if it's a contractor you have working on your home, if it's a project you're working on with your boss, maybe you're telling your spouse or your significant other, like, here's the type of neighborhood I want to live in. This is what I need for us to feel comfortable and safe. You're communicating with the realtor. You're communicating with your friends and family. This is what we're looking for. Just be really, really clear with your communication. Don't gloss things over. Don't assume the other people understand you, okay? And I am getting that for all 12 signs, that we might want to just say it and then say it again. Like when somebody says to you, okay, I want you to do this, this, and this for me, then you're saying, what I'm hearing you say is you need this, this, and this done. Is that correct? You know, it might take time. It's a pain in the butt, but I'm getting Knight of Swords, big action card here for Sagittarius. Just get really clear with your communication, even if it means repeating it. I tell my husband, I tell him, when we're headed to the airport, I'm like, don't be mad at me. I'm going to ask you when you get in the car if you have your keys, phone, and wallet and your ID, right? Like, it's like, let's just ask each other. And sunglasses, that's another one that gets forgotten. I'm going to ask me. I know we have it. We just checked, but why not? So just double checking things. And then you have the pets card here. The pets card, it says, you love and understand animals. Of course you do, Sagittarius. And they love you. That's so funny. It's making that weird background on there. I'll have to figure out what that is later. But maybe there is some communication around pets. Are you thinking about getting a new pet? Or do you need to try something different with your pet and you need to have clear communication with the veterinarian? The veterinarian's not understanding what you're saying. We just found out that one of our cats has asthma, and when you are going through the process of learning what you do, should your cat have an asthma attack, it's like, let me ask a lot of questions, let me get clear, how often am I doing this treatment, that kind of thing, right? So I'm not calling that in for anybody. I'm just feeling like maybe you're communicating with your pet more too. I feel like that might be a possibility. Maybe you're hiring an animal communicator to get clear on something that's going on with your pet, or maybe you're learning animal communication. That could be a great thing to do during retrograde, take an animal communication class. I love that for the Sagittarius. All right, moving on to Capricorns. Capricorns, for this Mercury retrograde, you've got the Ace of Earth card here. It says the inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, important documents or contracts. Yeah, so this is something you've already wanted to invest in, but there's new things coming in, and it's like, well, wait a minute, I thought this was a retrograde season. I feel like it's something you've already done. It's just you're doing it differently, and you may be working with new people because of it, or you may be finally getting clear on what's needed to have healthy boundaries in a situation. And it says important documents or contracts. We want to all remember whenever there's a Mercury retrograde to read that fine print multiple times. Make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Make sure you're understanding what this contract is doing, and are you being protected, and I do feel like it's something that you're not going to have a hard time investing in this new thing, Capricorn. We're just going to want to remember you're at the very beginning of it. So that's the Ace card, right? It's new, you're at the beginning. It's probably not going to get completed before the end of the retrograde or shadow season, so why not just take your time? Why not just take your time? If you can, hold off on signing those contracts until you do a little bit more research. Let's get some clarity first, though, because that's an interesting card to get during a retrograde season. We have the Five of Air, getting clear, mistakes, melodrama, reassessment. Yeah, I feel like around this new moon, I'm still getting used to this camera. I feel like on this new moon, you are going to really be thinking things through about what this Ace of Air, right, that you've already started. You're going to be like, okay, what's not working? You know what I mean? And it says reassessment. So I think if you can get clear on a better way of doing something or on what's not working, that's going to be where you have this new investment in something, right? So I am getting that maybe you're going to realize, I just keep doing this the hard way. I keep making this harder than I need to make it. Or you realize, I'm doing this just because I've already been doing it, but I don't really want to do it anymore. I want to do something else with my time and energy. So let's see what we have for the action cards for Capricorns. Capricorns, you have the Sun card here. Look at that beautiful cougar. So you need to get outside, Capricorns. Get out in the sun. Do the things to get your energy into the spotlight, right? That's going to be a great thing to do. You've been holding yourself back and sharing your light with the world, Capricorns. And even though a retrograde season isn't necessarily a thing to start something new, it's time to take something you've already been doing and really shine your light into it. Really reveal the things you're doing, because I feel like you've been holding yourself back a little bit, and it's time to claim your spot in the sun. Okay, and so the other action card we have is wish upon a star. Just like we got with the dreaming card or the imagination card, make a wish and expect the very best, right? And the sun is a star, so making a wish on a star, I love that. With the new moon energy, that's wonderful. So take some extra time during this new moon, all of you, wherever you have Capricorn in your chart, take this extra time to really make that wish for what you want, what your heart wants. We can still take advantage of that energy of a new moon, even with all these retrogrades. And by the way, Leo rules the sun, right? So you've got the sun card in the new moon in Leo, Capricorns. This is amazing. Make those wishes. Don't hold yourself back. Wish for the stars. Wish for the moon, right? All right. I love that for the Capricorns. Aquas, Aquarius. For Aquarius, for this new moon, you have the Five of Water card here. It says things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive. Somebody else just had the Five of Cups. Was that Capricorn? I can't remember already. It's crying over spilled milk. Yeah, there's something here where you're going to just be, I feel like you're throwing the towel in on something, Aquarius. I don't know what it is. It feels like something you've been really emotionally tied to, and now you're ready to move on. You're just saying, this is not working. This is not worth my time and energy. This is something. And you know what else I'm getting? I feel like this Mercury retrograde is going to reveal where other people around you haven't fully been honest with you about how they feel either. Or it's a situation where you realize they've been telling you who they are all along, and you've been so overwhelmed emotionally, you haven't been seeing the truth of a situation or truth about a person. It's that kind of thing where you thought your boss was recognizing all your hard work, so you never said anything, and then something happens during this retrograde where you realize he thinks you're a slacker, and you're like, what? I'm the one that stays after every night and does extra work. I'm the one that comes in on the weekends. You didn't know I was doing all that? And he just shrugs and says, no, I didn't think you were getting enough work done as it is. And you're going, all right, this is not working for me. I don't know why I had to say that specifically, but there is more clarification coming in through, because here we have the transformation card, which is the Tower card, right? Realizations, life change, liberation. Yeah, some of you are leaving something behind with this energy, but it's really more that you're admitting to yourself how you really feel. And I did get this energy for you with the full moon. Actually, I've kind of been getting this for you for all year long, quite frankly. There is something that it's more that you're saying to yourself, I'm done. I'm done. I've tried to love this project, love this person, love this, neighborhood, but I'm out of here. I've got to get out of here. I need to transform this. So I do feel like something is ending for you, Aquas, but it's something your heart wants to end. It's not going to be something that is, super painful or super shocking. In fact, it doesn't feel shocking at all. It's something you've just been holding off on doing because you're such a great humanitarian. You love people. You've been hanging in there for the sake of others. And now you're realizing it's just not going anywhere. So here's your action cards, Aqua. Ooh, we have the Moon card. The Moon card. So again, a card of something being revealed or hidden, because we are in retrograde energy. I do feel like something is going to be revealed to you, Aquas, that's going to make it easy for you to walk away. It's not going to be hard for you to bring in this transformation, because when this illusion, when the veil is lifted, when the person takes the mask off, you're going to say, all right, that made it easy for me, right? Have you ever had that situation where somebody does something in a relationship and you were on the fence about whether it was a healthy friendship or a healthy romantic relationship, and they do something so in your face that you're like, well, hall pass, I'm out of here. This is crossing a boundary. I don't even have to have a heart-to-heart. You know what you did. I'm out, right? So here's your other action card here. We have relax. Everything's okay. Don't worry. It's all going to be fine. Yeah, it's all going to be fine. And I feel like the reason you're getting this card, Aquas, is because you are going to still have that love for those other people you might be walking away from. It might be a person. It might be a group of people. It might be just something you thought you would always be a part of. But it's going to be okay, and they're going to be okay. That's what they want you to know. It's not your responsibility. You have to do what's in your highest interest in order to keep that high vibration, right? We need you, Aquas. We got Pluto in your sign. All right, wrapping up here with the Pisces. Pisces, always waiting until the end, but you're so patient and so lovely. I'm surrounded by amazing, beautiful Pisces, and I'm so honored to be. So let's see what's going on for you guys with this Mercury retrograde. We have an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, afraid to take action, the 8 of Air card here. All right. So Pisces, there is something you're going to have to take action on. You're going to have to take action, similar to the Aquas, right? There's something where you're going to say, enough is enough. We've got to get out of here. I am tired of this same cycle over and over and over again. So I will say again, my good friend Chris Reck from Minnow Pond Tarot, really amazing, fantastic Pisces. He introduced me to a book, and now I'm blanking on the title. Hang on, it's going to come to me. It's like why you feel bad when you say no, something like that. And he talked about it because he said that he was having a hard time. He used to have a hard time saying no. And this book talks about why people have a hard time saying no, even when they already know they don't want something or don't want to do something. So Pisces, if you're having a hard time saying no to something or taking action, maybe grab that book. I did. I took Chris's. I always take Chris's recommendations. And so, you know, there is something where you're going to just say no. Too. So let's see what's coming up for the new moon energy too, and that'll help. 9 of Earth, contentment, luxury, independence. Yeah, this is where you want to be. This is where you want to be, Pisces, and it's going to take saying no to something. Now, for some of you, it could be saying no to yourself, right? A little too much indulgence and spending on something, or something that you really enjoy consuming that isn't the healthiest, right? Not a doctor here, not judging anybody, not calling anybody out. But there is this thing of needing to say no. It could be you're saying no to yourself so that you can get to this 9 of Pentacles. All right. So it could be something like you had your eye on a new car, you had your eye on a new piece of equipment, and you're saying, actually, I'm going to hold off. Especially with retrograde season anyways, it tends to be better not to make big investments during that time. I mean, sometimes you can't avoid it, right? But you might have to tell yourself no, or you might have to tell someone else no, because you're saying to yourself, I'm not buying that new car during a retrograde, and the salesman's telling you, well, you can't get this price after the retrograde, but you're just gonna have to say, well, no, so I don't know. I feel like there's something you're already aware of that you've been thinking about, and it's gonna take, where do you want to be? You want to be in this place of tranquility. And so in order to do that, you've got to say no. You've got to set those boundaries. So here's some action cards for you, Pisces. We have the 6 of Cups. I love that. Okay, camera. Hello. 6 of Cups. Awesome. Yeah, this is you saying to yourself, I'm going to feel much more emotionally fulfilled when I say no and I work towards this 9 of Earth or 9 of Pentacles. So I really like that. I think you're focusing on the 6 things that make you feel the best, right? That's your action card. This 8 of Air card, it's like, all right, fine. You've got 8 things that you could choose from. You're going to pick 6 so that you eventually get to 9. Right? And I know that sounds like a backwards way of doing it, but by saying no, you're going to feel that emotional fulfillment. You're like, I don't know what to choose. Choose for the things that make you feel fulfilled. All right? Choose the things that make you feel loved and loving, and cut the things, say no to the things that don't, right? That's pretty easy. You can just sit there and do your own litmus test, Pisces, and say, how do I feel about this? How do I feel about this? You'll get, you're so intuitive, Pisces. You're so intuitive. You're so in tune. We have all this water energy going on right now. This is your chance to really get clear on how you feel about things, and make sure you're going for the 6 of Cups where you feel fulfilled. So your final action, Pisces, is going to be hello and goodbye. Talk about saying no. You'll soon see that this change will make things better. You're going to see how much better it is to say no. It's going to feel better. It's not going to take that long for you to feel that relief, right? We got an RE word coming in there, right? Relief. That's going to be the main thing here, is just, focusing on things that will bring relief. And if you visualize yourself saying no to something and then you feel relief in your body, there you go. I've had that happen before, where I've had to practice saying no to like a colleague or a friend, and then how am I going to feel if I say it? And if I immediately feel relieved, that's a big green light that that's something that I need to say no to. I need to walk away from. It's like, hi, yes, oh, you're inviting me to this event. Oh, I've got all these things I got to do this weekend. I don't know. I'll let you know. And you're hemming and hawing because you don't want to just say, no, I can't. I'm trying to get out of town. I've got too much going on. I love you. Maybe next time, right? And we all have to face that sometimes because we want to please. We don't want to tell people no that we love. We don't even want to tell ourselves no sometimes because we want to indulge. We want to enjoy the energy. But just remember, we are in a lot of retrogrades right now. Please let me know in the comments if you want me to do a separate video about the astrology. I'm happy to do it. I will link below my Know Your Signs guide so you can understand why I say listen to all 12 signs. I'm going to pull some cards of clarity for all 12 signs right now, just in case you're still questioning something. But please, if this video is resonating with you, would you hit that like button, share it with anybody that resonates, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow. And let's get into your clarity. All right, what's that question you have in your head that you're not sure yet? Well, the first card we have is the High Priestess. Love this information. I just got this guidance yesterday. There is a message waiting to be downloaded for all of us. Each and every one of you listening right now, okay? Each and every one of you, there's a message that you need to download, okay? It's from your higher self. It's from your higher self. So let's get a little clear here. Five of Earth, again, we've had this card come up a lot. It says lack, worry, assistance. All right, you've got to go higher. Go up here. Go up to this angel. You will download the answer you need to get out of this fear surrounding something in your life. Now, material resources is what comes up here, but it could be an energy around you that you're not sure about. And then finally, what I want you to keep in mind for your actions cards here, we've got two actions. We have the Justice card here, which is doing what you know is right. And when I say what you know is right, it's what your heart is telling you, right? Not what society says you should do, not what your parents say you should do, not the way you were raised to, this is how you should do it. You're doing what you know is right. And then your final action to take there is the very soon card. So you're going to have to do this Justice card, which is cutting away of something very soon. Now, this is for all of us, right? I know I have Pisces up right here now on the screen. Sorry about that, Pisces. But this last bonus clarification was for all of us. Of course, like I said, we have all 12 signs. Very soon, maybe around this new moon, is when we are all going to do what we know is right and end something that doesn't serve us, okay? And that's what this retrograde energy is revealing. Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Chiron will be retrograde later this month after this. Like I said, Pluto retrograde, Mercury will be retrograde starting tomorrow night. New moon next week is going to be where you probably take that action, okay? I have so much love for all of you. Let me know in the comments what else you'd like to see, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.